The secret to closing more sales is building trust with your prospects. We've all heard this before. We've all read it before. However, there are questions sales professionals are asking today that are hurting that trust building factor. You see, sales reps are often taught you have to ask thought-provoking questions, ask deep questions, do a good discovery process, ask more questions. The problem here is we're not really clear on what type of questions to ask. And when you're asking questions, sometimes the questions you're asking are doing more harm than good. Here's 3 types of questions that you want to avoid in your sales process. Now, I have to warn you, these are 3 types of questions that have been taught for years. And if you're in a sales program where these are the questions you're teaching, I challenge you to ask, what does my prospect think? Put yourself in the other person's foot. Here they are. Don't ask rhetorical questions. You see, rhetorical questions come across incredibly insensitive. Rhetorical questions come across almost patronizing to your prospect. Rhetorical questions are exactly what they are, the rhetorical questions. An example is saving money or time important to you? You see, the answer is yes. You know the answer is yes. Your prospect knows the answer is yes. And your prospect knows that you know the answer is yes. So why are you asking this question? There is no need to ask a rhetorical question, because when you ask a rhetorical question, the answer you're going to get is information you already know. So why would you ask a question to get information that you already know? An example of how you can reword this is, how are you currently handling XYZ, something associated to time or money? Or what are your goals for this time period, something associated to time or money? When you want to change the way you're going to ask a rhetorical question, ask it in a manner that's going to give you new information that you didn't already have. Avoid rhetorical questions. The second type of questions you should avoid are typical sales sleazy questions. They're there. They still exist. I'm sure someone is still teaching them right now. Look, this question should have been thrown away a long time ago. If I could snap my finger, what issue would you want me to fix? Or, what's it going to take for you to purchase today, Mr. Prospect? You see, asking these questions is forcing your prospect to make a decision. Now, I know the counter argument is you're trying to get all the cards on the table and you want to get clarity. But here's the problem with that. Our prospect is smarter today than they've ever been before. So if I'm going to ask these typical sleazy sales questions, I can guarantee your prospect has heard them before. And the moment you ask the same exact question that another salesperson asked, you get put into that same group of salespeople. And it's probably going to be the group that your prospect didn't buy from. You do not want to be associated with every other salesperson, right? This doesn't end well for sales reps that make commissionable dollars. So avoid sleazy sales questions. Look, some of these questions were first introduced to the market nearly 40 or 50 years ago. And there's people making a living today still teaching these questions. And I challenge you, it's not because these questions work. Right? The time in the window that these sleazy sales questions work has closed. It's a new age of selling, a new age of buying. Don't get lumped with the category of antiquated sales tactics. And the third type of question you should avoid is hypothetical questions. Now, prospects, they're aware of these hypothetical questions, right? Many years ago, these questions were designed to incentivize a decision process. These questions were designed to identify what was important to your prospect, right? For example, it's a quid pro quo question. If I can give you a 25% discount, would you do business with me today? Right? Quid pro quo. I give you something, you give me something in return. These hypothetical questions are a natural indicator to your prospect that you are sleazy. Point blank, these are sleazy sales questions, because if you could do it, you would do it. So if I could give you 25% off, I would give you 25% off. You see, when you ask the hypothetical question, you are actually building a wall between you and your prospect that is preventing the trust factor from being built at a higher level. You see, no one wants to feel like they're being gamed. No one wants to feel like they're being sold to. So these hypothetical questions that are surrounded or are based on quid pro quo, they do the exact opposite that your prospect's looking for. Your prospect is looking for trust. Your prospect is looking for confidence. Your prospect wants to feel like they got a good deal. So, same situation. If you want to create that urgency and you want to find out what's important to your prospect, use the laws of reciprocity. The laws of reciprocity say if I give you something, you give me something in return. Now, it doesn't always work that way. However, if you take the first step, you'll find out if it works or if it doesn't work. Same situation. Here's how I would phrase that question. Look, Mr. Jones, I can give you a 25% discount only if we can get business done today. I really want to do business with you, and that's my offer. I can guarantee when your prospect hears that you've given them an offer and incentivized them to do business today, they have a higher trust factor with you than the sales reps that say, what if I can give you 25% off? Would you do business with me today? These questions have been around for a long time. Your prospect has heard them before. Don't make the mistake and get lumped in the same category as every other sales rep that's been told no. Now, look, just because you rephrase the way you ask questions doesn't mean you're always going to make every sale. The truth is, it is a long game. We're told no more than we're told yes. And if you want to have some accountability or you want to work with somebody who's a little, and if you want to accelerate your sales to the next level, I highly recommend you get a coach in your corner or you get connected with the mastermind or a group of like-minded people that will help you have thought-provoking questions. Don't trust the old school sales manuals. They no longer work. That's what I got for you guys today. I'm Anthony Garcia. This is the Catapulting Commission Sales Blog. Do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, put in the comments below. What is the sales question you hate the most, or what is the sales question you love the most? That's what I got for you this week. I'll see you next week.